Hey guys, it's Shatona from the Shatona Show, and I'm so excited for you guys to check out our episode on the CO2 podcast. You know, we have really good energy, and I'm so excited for you guys to get hooked on this episode. That's it. Stay tuned.
You are experiencing the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast. Let's begin.
That's right. And you ain't said it no better. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody. You are rocking with the team, with the folks, with the greatest. This is the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast with your boy, Diggy Jones.
And your dude, the merciless Reese L. Black.
Good evening, Mr. Black.
Reese L. Black looks like he had an asthma attack going.
The merciless Reese L. Black. I'm sorry, there was some smoke earlier.
Yeah. The hazmat Reese L. Black. Yo, thank you everybody for joining us. We're glad to have you with us. This is going to be a supersized episode. We always have supersized episodes on this show. And it doesn't get, it doesn't stop, man. We got a great special guest that is coming up. She is a podcaster. She's a video podcaster. She's doing a lot of great things, man. And we are really excited to have her on the show. But before we introduce her, we will start with the music interlude, of course, because we got to hype her up, man. Let's do this. This is our special edition of The Fixings.
Greetings and welcome to the CO2's featured edition of The Fixings. With special guest, Shatona of the Shatona Show. YouTuber, podcaster, and overall elite content creator, carving her own lane to success. Let's begin.
Yeah. We are in The Fixings. I will let you take it, good sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat today. Today, we actually have not just only a podcaster, but we got a model. We got somebody out there who actually has a channel while doing a podcast, because there really ain't too many of y'all here. But let me go ahead and give you a breakdown. I believe she was over here on the West Coast. If not, I'm sorry, but I know that she's over there in the NYC doing it big right now. And I think she's into legal. So maybe she's a paralegal, or maybe she's a lawyer, maybe she's a fed. We don't know, but that's why you're here, because we're about to get into the nitty gritty of finding out who this woman truly is. But guess what? She's gorgeous.
Yes.
She's cute.
Yes.
And that's all we pretty much care about. No, we just playing. We welcome the host of the Shatona Show, Miss Shatona. Welcome to The Fixings.
How's it going?
Hey, welcome.
I don't have anything to cheers, but cheers.
That's okay. Virtual cheers. We're virtually interviewing, so that way.
I'll know next time to bring out some tequila. We'll have a really good time.
Facts. Love it.
Shatona forgot that she's in a kitchen and like she just can't reach behind her and grab something to toast with real fast.
Don't tempt me. Because this podcast is really hype.
Yeah. How you doing today, Shatona? Glad to have you on the show.
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. Really appreciating you being on. And, we wanted to let you know, like, we've been checking out your podcast, and what you've been doing is great. Like, we talk about quality of content, and your content and the way that you pay attention to detail, your lighting, your filming, very good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So we're going to get into some of the topics that we wanted to talk about today. But first, just to introduce for those who maybe don't know much about your channel, what got you started into the podcast game and your show?
So I thought of the Shatona Show. I worked on it for about a year. I had so many ideas, and I got into podcasting because I listened to a podcast called Brilliant Idiots with Charlamagne the God and Andrew Schultz. I was at work laughing my ass off constantly. Yeah. And I wanted to find a way to bring that. And I wasn't really seeing a lot of female podcasters doing that. And I thought, I might be slightly interesting. Let me give this a try. And so that's how I got into podcasting. And I kind of already had ideas of what I wanted. I just needed to do it. And I just started doing it. I love what I'm doing. That's
funny because didn't we have that conversation in the beginning? We were like, damn, like, are we even interested enough for anybody to listen to any of this? we talk about.
Yeah.
But it turned out, we do what we do, you know.
Yeah,
so.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much, guys.
So for the topic today, so let's start off with something that I thought was pretty interesting. This was actually based off of a reaction that I had from one of your podcasts. The last one you did was about the 2021 recap, basically about like how things have been going so far.
Just January.
yeah, pretty much. And you talked about the transition in the White House and Biden taking over from all of the craziness that ensued. And it kind of you mentioned about how he's planning to try to help out people and fix the economy and that sort of thing. And that kind of got me into the whole wealth state of mind. So I wanted to talk to you about generational wealth. But the spin on that a little bit is, I wonder, is generational wealth for everyone? And the reason why I ask that is because it seems as though the concept of blue collar work is almost dying in a way. You see people talk about wanting to blow up, wanting to do all of these big things. But what has happened to the idea of somebody just making an honest living? I was curious about your take on that.
So, your question has a lot of different parts in it. I'm going to start with the most important to me is this idea of blowing up. So obviously someone listening to us is like, well, you guys are doing a podcast. You guys are recording yourself, and that in an instance could help you blow up. But I think the point that people are missing really is social media's fault. I'll put it that way. It's so nice to be glamorous all the time and not show the hard work. So many people think that even what we do, they don't see the editing that we do. They don't see the process, and they don't understand that that is hard work. Everyone wants this right now. Give it to me. Good. Let's do it. But then also, I think that when everyone realizes that blowing up isn't what they think it is, then the blue collar work will continue to expand. It can't disappear because, at the end of the day, we have these jobs need to be fulfilled, and it's just a matter of us, our generation, the generation after us, putting emphasis on what's really important in our communities and for our economy and our lives. If more people took time off of social media and realized that those blue collar workers are really kicking ass and taking those nice ass vacations, then they would take it more seriously. I have a friend whose dad started a plumbing company. I moved here from Atlanta. I'm not from Atlanta. I'm actually from Mexico, but I moved here from Atlanta. And his dad is a millionaire, started a plumbing company in early 90s. Wow. And you would think a plumbing company, but it's so important. You need one. Now that everyone wants to be a celebrity or social media famous or an IG model, they're ignoring where the real money is. And I think that generational wealth is and will be something that I believe our generation, I don't really know if you guys are millennials, but I am. I think that our generation is kind of getting more financially, we're visualizing it. It may not seem like it because it's better to just be flashy, but we are honestly, more educated. We're also seeing opportunities in starting businesses. I know people who have started their own business, and it has nothing to do with blowing up. It literally is I have a friend who builds playgrounds for a living around the country. Yeah. And I think that, he's also able to take vacations whenever he wants because it's his business. I think people will get there. It's just a matter of how we keep pushing it, and so everyone can see it. But I do think it's possible, and I don't think the generational wealth will end. I do think that people will get a real hard reality check if they don't get off of their phones and look at real life.
Interesting.
Okay, see, now this is where we're going to get deep into the topic here. So when we talk about generational wealth, of course, we're going to have to mention relationships. We're gonna have to mention the commitment of marriage here. If I do recall, in one of your shows, you mentioned, that you did not want to become a product in your environment. I can't remember how long ago it was, But there were some men missing in the family. I think it was it grandma single, mom single, and then I believe you were saying like you didn't want it to be you somewhere in that room. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Or am I? Okay.
Yeah, so I think that was like episode 6 or something like that. I had my really good friend Sydney on,
Okay.
and she recently got married and stuff. And so she brought this conversation to me because I mean, more than ever, you see this like narrative that not just like putting myself in a box, but Black women are like, you know, more educated, more independent than a lot of other people, and a lot of women and men are becoming more separate. And I don't want to be a product. My grandmother is single. My mom is somewhat single. I'm not getting into that, but it's something that I noticed.
Yeah.
Right on.
You know how these complicated things go. I don't want to be a product of my environment. The only time I really saw like a male figure in my life was part-time. And that was uncles, that was my dad, that was just the random male individuals, cousins and whatnot. But as I got older, I was blessed enough to have godparents who are together. And I saw that as a opportunity to really, I think that people had to see it because it gave me the opportunity to see what's possible. Before, you know, you think I can just do it all by myself, and you can't. I'm sorry. Right. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I really think that when you have a team, when you have a community, when you have a family, you're more grounded, you're going to make better decisions, and you're going to be able to build that generational wealth because you're not just having selfish mentality, you're building on top of that, and you want more for everyone. And I think that's when you have really like gotten to that peak of life to me.
Right. Yeah. And that's where I was getting to. So why isn't, especially young women, why aren't they pushing for future wealth, you know, amongst themselves? Why isn't there anybody like on social media doing a live like, yo, we need to get married so we can plan for the future. Enough of this right now glow up shit.
Mm-hmm. Obviously I can't speak for all women, right. But from what I see and what I can kind of analyze is that it's almost not good for a brand if you're like, I can codepend on my man. Mm-hmm. I can codepend on my woman or whatever you enjoy, because it's this I can do it by myself mentality. I really think that is what it is. For so long, you know, you heard like independent women, people talking about that. I mean, come on, Destiny's Child, one of their hits is independent women. I can pay my bills. I could do that. Right. But I think that we're missing a really big key here is interdependence. Mm-hmm. You start off dependent in life. You're a baby, you're a child, you're a teenager, and then you become independent. You're paying your own bills. But then we have to come back and learn how to remix that in and become interdependent. Mm-hmm. So it's no longer just me, it's us. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people actually need to get into that more. They'll build more, you know, beautiful relationships. I have people that I literally feel like I can't live without, not because I need them, but because they've added so much value to my life. And I feel like I've added value. So it's a really good relationship there.
Yeah. You know, my key for life I've pretty much established is just the phrase balance, you know, and if you understand balance really applies to everything in life, you know, it's kind of interesting because it's like, you know, I get it. You know, we need to be independent to a certain degree. We need to be able to provide, you know, for ourselves and to do things for ourselves. But everybody needs somebody, right? And as soon as
even Oprah needed somebody.
Of course, yes, we
she
all
may never marry that man, but she needed somebody.
Right, she needed that stand man. You know what I mean? Like you have to rely on people and be open. And I think that's where these relationships can grow is when people, you know, humble themselves and we all get to a point where we're like, you know, I can do this on my own, but I also want you in my life. You feel me? And that even leads into the reason why I brought into the generational wealth and the blue collar thing is there is okay to have a balance when it comes to what we want to do in our life financially. Some people might want to be rich and famous and have, you know, money for generations. I'm sure everyone would love to have money for generations, but some people are okay with just being happy, living a simple life. And it shouldn't be something that people look down upon, right? Like somebody's got to do these regular jobs. And I think it's okay to have that. So for every person who's got the big dream, I think it's also okay for somebody to just live their life.
Let me add on that too. Individuals.
So let me ask you a question. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
I apologize.
So
what do you think about someone? What do you think about someone who wants to be a housewife or a house husband? Do you also see the quality in that? Do you think that people should see more quality in that?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll speak on that because I have the housewife right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and explain the housewife today. I mean, it was because we had a baby, and so she took time off until the child gets older before they could go into preschool, and then she's gonna go ahead and go back to work. But what's actually interesting is now, not only is your child pretty much growing up knowing who mom is and now knowing who dad is when they come home, of course, the brunt of the financial responsibility falls on me. So obviously, I'm the breadwinner. So now I am the sole provider of the home. That's a major responsibility, especially in these trying times, you know? Now, the thing is, do I got to make sure that my shit is together? It's like, oh, hell yeah. So you start thinking of other avenues of income, and this show right here is one of them. The podcast is like, this is actually like the third business venture to me, and the first business venture second. We actually had a record label back in the day. So, and if anybody sees how much we put into this project, you could see that we're serious. Like, this is not just for fun. Like right now, what we're doing with you, this is break. This is break. When we hit the stop button, the work begins. So the thing is, when you become, the man of the home, it's not all about make my sandwich and go make babies. It's like, no, you are a provider, you are a protector, you are a leader, you are a role model. Any dumb decision that I make with money is going to affect the whole entire family. So you have no choice but to be stronger. And that's why a lot of you dudes can't even handle marriage to this, these days, because it's a huge responsibility. I'm sorry to get on y'all, but this is what it is.
Keep calling them out because they need to hear it.
No, real talk. And going back to the blue collar workers and everything, it's like, yo, who the hell you think built everything? White collars were paying plumbers, construction workers to be in those damn skyscrapers. And in case y'all didn't know, plumbers at the minimum make $98,000 a year. Be a goddamn plumber and come up. Just in case y'all didn't know. So it's like real talk.
I could date a guy who was a plumber who could do all of that. Not just because I'm like, oh, he's probably making bread, but I see the stability in his head. That is an attractive quality. If you can be a stable person and still be willing to live life, it's like a gold mine. I know that if I mess up in my life, I have a partner. We can work it through. I don't have to worry about you also failing. And now we both in the bucket.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, really good quality. You're setting an example for your child, and kudos to you.
Yeah,
you're still a hater, but
gotcha. Oh, that's funny.
Sorry, y'all. I'm dyslexic.
Yeah. I love it, man.
I could do this all day, Shatona.
You know what? Actually, on that note,
we're gonna keep taking shots. It's going there.
You took the first one.
I'm gonna let her drop the mic on that one, and we're gonna take a break.
Screw you.
Yeah. No. Thank you for giving us those gems. We will be back after a quick break, and when we come back, we will be talking about something that I think is actually Reese's first time he heard about this. I'm not sure if Shatona, you've heard about it either, but it is called the silent date. I will give you more information when we return. This is the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast. See you in a minute. All right. And we are back. Thank you, everyone. Once again, this is the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast, and we are back with our very special guest, Shatona of the Shatona Show. And last time we left off. Well, I was going to get into a pretty interesting thing a little bit later, but let's keep back up with the mental health and depression topic that we were going with. Reese, you had something that you wanted to ask.
Right.
What you got?
All right. So earlier you mentioned, of course, social media and the glow up. Now we're actually in this age to where, to the point where folks can get depressed without social media. Interestingly, you did say if people just get off social media, get your brain right, take a moment. But this is actually what feeds them. So now social media, especially the gram, is now becoming a part, this becoming a mental health issue. People sweat on not getting enough likes, not getting enough views. And some of these individuals are not even content creators, so in your opinion, or if you had anybody, or if you knew anybody personally or whatever, if social media shut down right now, what do you think the state of a person's mind would be, especially if they, feed and live off of social media?
They would go into a deeper depression. I'm thinking of a couple people in my head, and not in like a putting them down type of way, but you're in a conversation with them and they're like this, and you're like, hey, I'm right here in your face. Look at me. But like, I think that it would take a toll on so many people, and not just people who are outwardly addicted to social media, but people who don't even think that they depend on it. And I think our kids would suffer the most. And I'm talking about kids who are like teenagers. They would suffer the most, because my generation, social media was slightly there, but it wasn't like that. You still were like going out to parties, football games, clubs, whatever. And then social media came, and then, we kind of just mix and mingle. There's a whole generation that social media is all they know. And I think that where you're going with that is like that depression of needing those likes and the comments and the views is the only happiness that they're seeing. You got to think this whole generation every day gets the news every single minute of every day. Yeah. So like they're going to feel so disconnected. They're really going to have to really develop like communication skills outside of social media. And that's bombarding somebody, just like bombarding them with so much information. So social media going away would really set the tone for people seeing where they're lacking in certain skills in life, because social media is not life.
Well, yeah, and I would say, it's the instant gratification thing too, right? Like you get to a point where it's like you don't really even live for actual life. You live for the response to your life. You know what I mean? Which is very dangerous in a way, because it's like if all you care about, like you said, I've seen people who, at a birthday party, half of the birthday party is literally pictures, FaceTime, IG stories, and it's like you're living that through that lens, when in the reality, this kid is having a birthday and there's cake on the table, and there are people with hats on and there's music playing, and all you're thinking about is the lens. And it gets really dangerous, because what happens when people don't react to your life the way you want it to? Do you feel as though you aren't living life anymore? Whereas before you don't have that.
And then also people make money off of Instagram and Twitter and things like that. They post something, they sponsor something. Now it creates this environment of what I don't have, right, instead of being appreciative for what you do have. And I got to say, like, for me, I was addicted to social media for a long time, because it wasn't like I need to get the likes. It was just the habit of scrolling and the habit of just being on there. So very often, I'll take like 2 or 3 weeks to not post anything. I'll actually delete the apps. And if you talk to me, you talk to me. If you don't, you don't. But I still today don't get any notifications. I don't want to know what's going on. When I get there, I get there. Right. And that honestly helps my life, because I'm a person that I have depression. I've had depression off and on for years. And it's usually when I'm not really showing myself self-love. And I think that's what a lot of people who who are needing that social media or that interaction, those likes, they need to practice that. Take a moment and really appreciate like what your body can do, what your mind can do, what like the people around you. And it brings that gratification that lasts 10 years longer than one like. That I advise my brothers on that. I have 4 younger ones. I'm like, hey, just like put it down. Put it down and watch you have a great day.
You basically made a perfect segue into what we wanted to talk about next when you're talking about the vibe from within and, you know, the mental game and the physical game and all that stuff. We actually wanted to talk to you about something that I thought was pretty interesting and Reese had never heard about. It's called the silent date. And what that is it's this wave that we're hearing about where people are going on the first date, and the whole first date is a silent date. You can't talk, can't say anything. You meet into a location and you go about the date silently. And everything has to be, your interaction with them has to be either, you know, physical, body language or whatever.
It's just pure energy.
But you can't talk. So I wondered for you, what is that? Would you ever go on a silent date? And what do you think the benefits and the negatives of a silent date are? Because I think that's just really interesting.
Okay. Would I ever do it? Yes, because I'm an adventurous person. I want to see like, what is that even going to feel like? The energy, you said that, Reese, yourself, and it is true. You know, you get someone's vibe as soon as you see them.
Yeah.
The benefits, maybe you realize you get a deeper sense of who that person may be without them speaking. Because sometimes, you know, like your gut instinct tells you like, don't trust this person or like this person's dope. But then they open their mouth and sometimes they ruin that thought for you. Yeah. And you're like, ooh, no more words. And that might work in their benefit, you know?
Right.
But it also may be like, this person's got some weird vibes. Problems with that is we're not all American. And every country, every culture has different body language and different ways of looking at things. And that could really throw two people off. Communication is so important that, I mean, like, obviously people who are deaf use sign language and they still need to communicate. Without communication, everything dies. I'm sorry. I can't be in a room with someone for too long and just not speak. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're eating together. I start feeling like I get stuck in my head. I'm overthinking. And if I just say it, clarify it, we good. Back to Gucci. So I don't know how fun and exciting that would be. But I had another downside. It was there. It's like having a date with a stranger and never getting to know them. What are there benefits listed in this?
So here's what people are saying. And this is one of the things that I thought might be a benefit to it as I was thinking about it more, is the point behind the silent date is it eliminates the pressure of having to have a sit down interview type of first impression where you're giving everybody, you don't have to sell yourself. Yeah, you're not selling yourself. And it also eliminates a lot of BS because you can lie about what you say. It's very hard for you to lie about who you are. And a silent date, when you have to interact with an environment and do activities together without talking, you are more prone to being who you actually are than, you can really tell anybody anything about yourself. So that's what people are saying, is that the benefit of that is you can tell somebody's vibe before you actually hear them speak and try to explain their vibe, which that part I get. But I also get your point about, yes, communication is very important. So I just thought it was interesting. It's like, what's that balance? Is it worth it? Is it something good to go with? What do you think?
Okay.
Another comment. What if like this vibe is great and then you speak to them and they're just like start talking off then like
they got a Daffy Duck voice or something.
Yeah, you're like, whoa. My brain is just like
they talk like Yosemite Sam or something. Yeah, I think that might be a
They're like, hey, how's it going? You know, they got a big list for something. I mean, no offense to people have lists, but I mean, I just like to know what I'm getting into.
Leave it to Shatona Show to bring another spin that I didn't even think about.
Just shit it on the whole thing. Hold up, okay. hold on. You know, because I was thinking about this the whole entire time. Anybody knows me personally, I'm very big on energy. I'm very, very big on vibe, you know, but I'm also very, very big on body language and the mind itself, you know. And I was like thinking like, okay, we actually exercise the whole silent date, silent approach thing, you know, anyway. We just didn't know there was a name for it. Now, 2 hours not doing anything, that's absurd. I'm not kicking it with somebody in silence for 2 hours. It's not happening. You know, no, it's not happening. But
we're not going to see a movie. What is this?
Yeah, you know, like I'm not, that's, I think that's over exaggerated, you know, but that's just me personally. But honestly, but give me 5 minutes and I can see how it works. Because first of all, me personally, I'm telling on myself, I'm sorry, but this was all before I got married. You see somebody, right? You see somebody, you look over there. You're waiting for them to look at you. Our eyes meet. Now, two things that happen. You can sit there and look at me and, you know, glance and go back to your friends or whatever. But I could sit here and just keep on looking at you to see if you're going to look at me again. You can now hit me. Eye contact. We're sitting there staring at each other. The tension right there is already built. The vibe is already there. I know what you want. You know what I want. Now, if I come up and, you know, if I walk up to you and approach you and I just sit there looking at you doing the same thing, not saying anything, you know, your body is going to shift. You may be uncomfortably comfortable, what they call it. You're going to get a little bit soft. Your head might tilt. Bite that lip. I already know the tension is building. Either she finds me attractive or she finds the situation attractive. And you're right. If I say something right now, it's going to completely blow it. So what do? I'm going to take your hand. You're going to let me hold your hand. You're going to hold my hand a certain way, basically making it seem like you are really, really into me. Now, the thing is, there's at this point, the way I'm describing it, there's no way anybody can mess this up right now. You both are really, really good to go at that moment. You can either say you want to come have a drink with me or do you want to leave? It may be a yes or a no, but just the tension that is already there. And women, they love that adrenaline. This is something brand new. This is already going to turn them off. Fellas, you won. Shut your damn mouth and actually try the whole silent thing. I don't like to call it a silent date. Silent approach, but
the silent approach is a deadly approach because it's the mind. More women are, you know, mentally attracted to a man who can mess with this, and that would work. I'm not gonna lie, it would work. I don't know what to think. I don't know, like
it would take
I don't know what you think.
It takes a very confident person to go up to somebody and not say anything. And that speaks measures again on who this person is. You're willing to just like stare at me and come up to me without saying anything, and then I'm just like, I guess I'll make the first move. I'll say something. Then you really kind of still giving the ball to the woman, and now she feels like she's like, I want to do this, not just like I feel obligated because you're over here. I want that, and that's got to be a really interesting feeling to feel that desire without speaking about it. Awesome.
Yeah, see, it kind of makes you want to, like, you know, role play. You know, I'm gonna go try this on somebody one day. You know what I mean? No, because this is like really, really true game, because it really eliminates, you know, the nervousness for somebody. Just use your eyes, use your body. Like I'm looking at, you know, everybody. I'm looking at, you know, Shatona right now. So if I'm just sitting there looking at her, she's looking at me. This is probably taking about maybe 2 minutes. I'm walking up to Shatona. I'm not saying anything, just looking at her. Now let's just say 5 minutes done pass, and it's like, hi, I'm Reese.
Cynic in me though would be like, why are you staring at me?
See,
I mean,
the response right there.
That's another thing. It's different, because if your energy, like he said, is off, then I'll get the creep vibe.
Exactly.
That's different.
It depends on how confident
that's different.
you are.
Yeah, like if you come over and then you're just like,
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, I really need to call like my brother, my dad, my bodyguard. Now I'm creeped out, but it's gotta be right. It's
gotta be right. Mm-hmm. Dope. Hey, well, you know what? I love that. It was something that we really wanted to ask you, and you did great. This is the time that we hate, unfortunately. This is it's already the end of the show, unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh no.
I know. But we really gotta get you on the show again at some point. You did great. And
yeah, definitely.
First of all, we want to give you shout out to your show, the Shatona Show. And we want the fellas that watch this channel, check out her show, ladies. Check out her show. She's doing big things.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and plug your show for us?
Yeah, definitely. You can follow the Shatona Show on Instagram and Twitter, but don't get hooked on it. Just take a quick glance, follow, and then, go about your life. And then if you want to watch me or listen, you can search for the Shatona Show on YouTube or Instagram. It's under Shatona Media. Heads up, we've got other projects coming under Shatona Media. That's why it's under that name. You'll be seeing me producing a couple other podcasts, so keep your eyes open for that.
Nice.
And definitely just take the time, send me a DM. I will respond. You say something wild, I'll probably say something wild back, and then it'll start a beautiful friendship. But thank you guys so much for having me on your show. This was literally the best podcast I've ever been a guest on.
Great to hear. Thank you.
And let me say something to the fellas right here. This is your proof right here. On y'all that and bitches ain't shit. This is your proof right here. A fabulous. See, me and the homie, we don't just bring anybody up on the show who ain't got no goddamn sense. If you look good, basically we want to know if you talk good and you think good. And look what we have here today. So all y'all on that, all they care about is looks, money, and status.
You're messing with the wrong people. That's what's happening.
There why you're
people out
here.
there.
Because ladies like this right here, they exist.
Exactly.
Get off the damn phone and actually go outside, put on the mask, and then go outside and and go holler. You know what I'm saying? But you know me. How can they find you?
All right. So for me, you guys can find me on Diggy City on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. What about you?
And of course, you can find your dude on the gram. Good evening, Mr. Black. Also on Twitter. Evening, Mr. Black. And make sure you go ahead and check our Facebook page, and make sure you hit the Instagram official of our show, CO2 Rawcast, for exclusive updates and clips. And make sure you get on our IGTV so you can watch our mini series, the CO2 Rawclusive.
Yes. Shatona, thank you again for being on the show, and it is great to have you.
Thank you, guys. Yes, thank you so much.
All right. And for everybody else, we'll see you guys next time on the Carbon Ops Rawcast. This is your boy Diggy with Resell Black. Peace. Flipside, we out.